President Zelensky says the US has benefited greatly from the Russia-Ukraine conflict. President Volodymyr Zelensky believes that the US defense industry has benefited from large arms contracts to supply Kiev and replenish domestic stockpiles. In an interview with British journalist Piers Morgan on February 4, Mr. Zelensky argued that a significant part of the billions of dollars that the US has allocated to Ukraine has actually been funneled back to boost the US domestic arms industry. Part of the money that the Americans are talking about is actually to finance production in the US. Companies that produce weapons for Kiev have received this money. American companies now have the highest prices for arms contracts in the last 50 years because of the huge demand due to the Russian attack. The Ukrainian leader said, a significant part of the funding, according to Zelensky, went to specific companies, specific factories, which generate profits for specific people. This money was used to pay the salaries of American citizens who work at those companies. Zelensky added that the support for Ukraine had helped the US to renew its arsenal. As in many cases, Washington had supplied Kiev with relatively outdated weapons produced in the 1970s and 1980s. The Ukrainian president also said that Ukraine was grateful for the US help, although he had previously criticized the West for the delays and the number of weapons delivered. The Ukrainian leader also affirmed, the United States has received from Ukraine experience in large-scale ground combat in modern times. The United States and Europe, but first of all the United States, have all the information about the effectiveness and shortcomings of American weapons. Ukraine extends martial law. According to Kyiv Independent, Ukrainian President Zelensky signed into law the extension of martial law and general mobilization from February 8 to May 9. The first time Mr. Zelensky declared martial law and general mobilization was on February 24, 2022, when Russia launched a special military operation in Ukraine. Since then, martial law and general mobilization have been extended by Ukraine many times. Previously, Mr. Zelensky submitted a proposal to the Ukrainian parliament on January 14 to extend martial law and general mobilization for another 90 days. The Ukrainian parliament then voted to approve the extension. Under martial law, Ukrainian men between the ages of 18 and 60 are not allowed to leave the country, with some exceptions, as they could be called up for military service. Because of martial law, Ukraine is also unable to hold parliamentary and presidential elections under current law.